Kaba, can you say hi to our Storytime friends? How do you feel that it's bird-themed Storytime this week? Yeah? Are you excited? Are you excited to sing some bird-themed songs? Hello, Storytime friends. Thank you so much for joining us for another lunch break Storytime today. I know you already know what our theme is going to be this afternoon because Kaba, our bird, who you can already hear again in the background, helped to introduce our theme. Our theme is going to be birdies today, right? I have an owl, which is a type of birdie right on my hoodie here. I also have some nice parrot earrings. Yeah, another type of birdie. And we have our real bird here with us, Kaba, right? Kaba is a type of bird called a cockatiel. A cockatiel, yeah. There are so many great vocabulary words that we can learn related to birds. So many different breeds, species of birds, right? Don't ever be afraid to use the real word for something. Even if you think that your kiddo might not be able to understand right away, you don't have to change it to bird. If you know the real name, if you know the species of the bird, you can say the real name, and that vocabulary will get picked up like that. I promise you. I promise you. Now, before we talk all about birds, I think we need to say hello to all of our Storytime friends out there, right? Kaba already said hello a little bit ago, but we need to sing our Hello Friends song to say hello to one another. Now, our Hello Friends song has a couple of different sign language words, right? If you've joined us before, you know just what I'm talking about, and if you haven't, it's super easy to pick it up, I promise. It has hello, which is just a little salute from our forehead, right? We tuck our thumb underneath our hand and we put it flat on top of our forehead and move it outward like a little salute. It has friends, which is 2 pointer fingers. You separate them from the rest of our hand. I know this one's a little bit of a stretch for our tiniest Storytime friends, so all these muscles here are still developing, right? So they might not get this one right away, and that's just fine. We keep practicing. Friends separates out our pointer fingers and they hug. And when they hug, they switch sides. They switch sides like this. Friends. And then if you're ready with those two, you can add 2 more. Time, which is just taking your wrist flat and pointing at it like you're pointing at a watch and you're saying, look what time it is. And say, which is just taking your hand completely flat and tapping it to your chin. Now, I'm at home here with just the animals and the people that I live with, so that's why I'm okay touching my face and I don't wear my mask while I'm doing Storytime because I'm safe at home. But if you're out and about, or if you're just training yourself, you're trying really hard not to touch your faces, and especially for our littlest friends, it's a real journey trying to train them to stay healthy with the things that we need to do right now. So if you don't want to touch your face, you can just put it right in front of your chin. You can just put it right in front when we sing that part. All right, I think we're ready. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. It's time to say hello. Oh my gosh, Storytime friends, I can hear you singing out there. I know I really can't exactly hear you, but I can imagine. I can imagine through the magic of Storytime. I promised you we were going to be talking about birds today. I promised you we were going to be talking about birds, so should we get out some bird friends to come visit us? I know Kaba, our real bird friend, visited us just a little bit ago. Should we get out? What type of bird is this? Do you know? Is it a dove? A dove is a type of bird that's native to our area, so you might have seen one of these outside your window or when you're taking a walk. Should we listen to what a dove really sounds like? Let's get this nice and loud for you. Let's get this nice and loud for you so you can hear it. You hear that deep cooing noise, right? That bird makes a little bit of a coo, coo, kind of like our owl, right? Our owl makes a similar noise. Should we hear another type of bird? What about this one? Do we know what type of bird this is? Is it a blue jay? Is this another one that's native to our area that you might see out your window or when you're walking? Should we hear what a blue jay sounds like? Let's make it nice and loud. Is that different? Did that sound different? That sounded more like a caw, caw. Yeah, more like a cawing noise than a cooing noise. Isn't it cool how all these birds sound so much different from one another? Should we try one more? Do we know what birdie this is? Is it a robin? A robin is another birdie we might see in our area. Let's hear what a robin sounds like. Does that sound more like a cheeping noise? Like a cheeping noise. It's not a caw. It's not a coo. It's more of a cheeping noise, right? Should we get back all of our birds? All of our birds. Now this exercise is super interesting because it not only teaches us some science, right, about what the different birds sound like, but it helps train our ears, right, to listen for those little differences. That trains our ears to hear the differences in sound parts when we learn how to read, right? That's how we learn how words sound and how word parts sound together, right? When you mix letters together, what do they sound like? We've got to train those ears to be ready for that. And so this exercise is super fun and works on so many different skills. You can find lots and lots of videos of bird calls and even videos of the birds themselves making the calls with video and audio together. You can find so many online. So next time you have a little bit of a curiosity about what a bird type might sound like, maybe a crow, or maybe a parrot, or maybe an owl, right? You can look up their real sound to listen to as a family. It's a fun little game. You can even play the sound while closing your eyes and try to have your kiddos guess which birdie is making that noise, right? Such a fun little game to play together. Now, we've heard some bird sounds and we've looked at some bird types. I think we might be ready to do a little bit of a bird rhyme together. What do you guys think? Should we do a rhyme together? Let's get our lyrics. And don't worry, we're going to do this rhyme twice since it's brand new, but I am also going to put the lyrics in the comments for this video. So if you want, you can read those and follow along, or you can save them, maybe take a screenshot on your phone, save them so that you can do the rhyme together later. And all of our videos, including this one, after I upload it, right? It's going to be available at any time for you to listen to rewatch, rewind, fast forward to your favorite parts, and all of our previous weeks of lunch break story time and bedtime story time are all there too on our playlist, right, on Facebook and YouTube. We have our virtual story time playlist, so you can look through those at any time you like. All of them are labeled with what we talk about or the story that we share that day. So if you're really into a certain topic, like maybe things that go, or maybe lucky and unlucky, which was last week, right? You can look up which exact story time you want to rewatch and go straight to it. Now this rhyme has a little bit of movement to it, movement with our hands, right? So this rhyme is called The Bird, and we're going to talk about different parts of the bird while moving our hands. So first we're going to talk about bird legs, right? Can we make legs with our index and our middle fingers and walk them along like a little birdie, like a little birdie? You guys are so good. Oh my gosh, what good fine motor practice. Now, next we're going to make a little bit of a beak. And here's a secret for you. When we make our beak with our index and our thumb fingers, right? We're actually saying the word in sign language for bird. Yep, this is the word for bird in American Sign Language. Like we're having a beak opening and closing. It's the next part of the bird we're going to talk about in the rhyme. Then the third part of the bird we're going to talk about in the rhyme are the wings, right? The coolest part of the bird, in my opinion. And we're going to spread out our hands and fly them around like wings. Yeah, we're going to take our hands, touch them together, and fly them around. Now, we've talked all about those bird parts. Now we're ready for the bird to be on top of something. Normally birds like to sit on perches, right? They like to sit on branches, or Kaba has his own little perch made out of wood that's in his cage, or maybe they like to sit on top of poles. Well, we don't have any of those, but we do have a head, and the birdie's gonna be sitting on our head at the end of the rhyme. So to make our birdie, we're gonna link our thumbs together, right? We're gonna touch our thumbs together. I know this is pretty hard for our tiniest friends, because again, we have to separate out those fingers from the rest of our hand. It's a little bit of a muscle stretch, so it's okay if you don't get it right away. We're gonna link our thumbs together, and here are our wings. We're gonna put our bird on top of her head. I know I have to get a little lower so you can see when the bird goes on top of my head. Oh my gosh, and we'll end with that silly little bird on top of our head. All right, are we ready? We're gonna do this twice, don't worry. Here are the legs that walk along. Here is the beak that sings a song. Here are the wings that flap and spread. Uh-oh, here comes our silly bird. And here is the bird on top of my head. Oh my gosh, that bird's right on top of me. We did it again. Here are the legs that walk along. Here is the beak that sings a song. Here are the wings that flap and spread. And here is the bird on top of my head. Oh my gosh, you guys are so good. You're so good at being birds and being a little bit silly. I love it when we can get silly together at story time. Oh my gosh. Now before we do our next rhyme, I thought maybe we should do a little bit of a craft together. What do you think? Do you like to do crafts? Now this craft, if you're local to Lincolnwood, you're close enough to get to the library, right? You might not know, but outside of the library, we have a great green box. We have a big newspaper box, and it is filled every single week with crafts and activities for all of our ages of kiddos. And this week, in there for our littlest kiddos and their families, and for our big kiddos, doesn't matter how old you are, you would enjoy this craft. We have a DIY bird feeder. Now, if you're not local to Lincolnwood, or if you go and we're out, I know because they're so popular, sometimes we run out. Don't worry, because all you need to do this at home yourself is a pipe cleaner, or more than one if you want to make more than one, and some Cheerios, right? Now, what you're gonna do is you're gonna bend your pipe cleaner first into the shape that you want. You can make a really unusual shape, like a spiral. You can make a letter. You could make a circle. You could keep it real simple like that, or you could make a heart, which is what I'm gonna make today. And you're gonna move your pipe cleaner in the shape because this makes it easier for your Cheerios not to break when you're stringing them on the pipe cleaner. Because if you wait until after to make your shape and you're moving your pipe cleaner around with your Cheerios already on it, sometimes they break. Sometimes they break, and that doesn't feel very good after we spent all that time making something, right? So we're gonna make it into our shape, my little heart, right? But we're not gonna tie the ends together because we have to string our Cheerios on there. Now we're gonna take our Cheerios, and I think it is perfectly fine if we snack on those Cheerios while we're making this craft. As long as we leave enough to share with our bird friends, I think it's perfectly fine to have a little snack time during craft time. I think that's fine. We're gonna string on our Cheerios. This is another really great fine motor exercise, right? Because it's really hard, especially if those Cheerios don't have perfect circles in the middle. It can be really hard to get them on that pipe cleaner. And it's really great for hand-eye coordination because we have to really send those signals from our brain to our hand to make sure that we're putting the pipe cleaner through the middle of the Cheerio, right? Because that's the only way we can string it on. So it's super great, even while you're having fun stringing these Cheerios / eating the Cheerios, you can also be practicing some skills without even knowing it. Now, I'm not going to make you sit here while I string the whole bird feeder, but you're going to want to cover almost all of your pipe cleaner with your Cheerios so that you have plenty of food for the birdies. But you're gonna leave a little bit on the ends. So I'm leaving a lot because I don't want to make you guys sit through the whole stringing process here. But you're just gonna leave a little bit when you do it at home so that you can tie them together so your Cheerios don't just fall off that pipe cleaner, right? So you're gonna twist them together. And we might need a little bit of grown-up help with this because sometimes our pipe cleaners are a little bit pokey at the ends, right? They're a little bit sharp at the ends. We have to be careful. We have to be careful. We don't want any owies, right? And when we're done, we're gonna have all of our Cheerios all over this, and we can hang it on the pipe cleaner itself, right? Or we could add some string to hang it. We're gonna hang it in our window, or maybe if we have a backyard, maybe we have a tree or a bush we can hang it on, somewhere that you guys are able to watch your bird friends come and visit, because when your bird friends come and visit, you can do a lot of observation. I know that's such a big word, and that is just a word for watching and thinking about what you're seeing, right? So if you pick up one of our bird feeder kits at the library, you're going to get your pipe cleaner and your Cheerios. You're also going to get some papers, some things that are going to help you with that observation part. So you're going to get a paper with some pictures and names of birds that are local to the Chicagoland area, right? So the birds that you might be seeing come to visit your feeder. You're also going to get a paper that helps us grown-ups ask some really great open-ended questions while we're watching our bird visitors that can help work on a lot of different skills like math. Maybe we could ask our kiddos, hey, I wonder how many Cheerios that bird is going to take today. Do you think 1 or 2? Do you think that the bird is going to eat the whole Cheerio, or just half of it, or just part of it? Right? What do you think? All those kinds of questions that get us to thinking about what we're seeing and making the experience even more fun. I know it's fun just to watch, but it's even more fun to think about and talk about what we're seeing. We can talk about the colors of the birds that come to visit us. We can even, and I know this sounds like something only big kids and grown-ups can do, but we can even do a little bit of an experiment. We can even do a little bit of the scientific process, where we start with a hypothesis. I know, big grown-up word, but don't worry. A hypothesis is just something that we think, right? I wonder if this will happen. That's a hypothesis. So maybe we started by putting our bird feeder in the front window, and we hypothesize, we think that maybe if we moved it to the tree in our backyard, we would get more birds visiting us. What do you think? Well, the only way to find out is to experiment, right? Is to actually do it. So we move our bird feeder to our back tree, right? And we count the number of birds. We count how many more come to visit us. And then we have an answer from our experiment. That is science. I know, even our littlest ones can be scientists. And those papers that come with your kit, don't worry, I'm going to also put them in the comments for this video so that if you're not local to Lincolnwood, or if the kits are out when you come visit us, I know they're so popular that sometimes they run out pretty fast and you can't get one. But don't worry, if that is true for you, all you need to do is grab some Cheerios and pipe cleaners, and then I will put those observation sheets and those bird identification sheets in the comments so that you have those with you too. You can make your own little pipe cleaner bird feeder for your house or your apartment, right? All right, I think after that craft, we're ready to do a little bit of a rhyme. And this rhyme is perfect for the eating at the bird feeder, because we're going to do a bunch of different bird actions, one of which is going to be eating. So it's perfect for what we're making. It's perfect for our bird feeder. We can even do this rhyme while watching the birds at our bird feeder. We can make it all come together. Now let's get our lyrics up, and don't worry, I'm going to put these lyrics in the comments too so you can follow along. But we're going to do this rhyme with a lot of different verses, so you will catch on very, very fast. Now, a lot of types of birds, scratch at the ground for their food, right? With their little feet. I was about to say paws. I'm just thinking about all the cats and dogs that we do and all of their paws, but birds don't have paws. I was being so silly. Birds have feet. Now, you won't be able to see me do this part on the camera because my feet are not in the camera, but you can do this at home. You can scratch your feet on the ground, right? You can scratch your feet on the ground. Yeah, tense your toes up and scratch it a little bit on the ground. It builds those muscles in those feet too. Got so much exercise going on at story time, I'll tell you. So we're gonna start with scratching for food with our little feet, and with our arms. We can make our wings while we scratch, right? We can't be a bird without wings. We make our wings while we scratch. Then we're gonna peck for some food because some birds don't scratch at the ground. They peck with their little beak. And I think maybe we can bring back our sign language word for bird because it looks like our little beak, so it's perfect for pecking for food. Then after we scratch and we peck for food, we're gonna fly with our wings. And for this one, I'm not gonna move as much because I don't wanna get out of the camera. But if you wanna fly all the way around the room, just be careful, make sure that you have enough room. You can fly all the way around the room if you want. You can move your whole body while you're flying. All right, should we start with our scratching? Do you have your wings ready? Do you have your scratching feet ready? This is the way we scratch for food, scratch for food, scratch for food. This is the way we scratch for food so early in the morning. Are you ready for our pecking? This is the way we peck for food, peck for food, peck for food. This is the way we peck for food so early in the morning. Are you ready to fly around the room? You're ready to fly around the room. This one's my favorite verse. That's why it's last, because you end with the fun part. You end with the most fun part. Ready? This is the way we fly away, fly away, fly away. This is the way we fly away so early in the morning. Oh my gosh, you guys did such a good job. I wish that I could see you flying all around the room. That would put such a smile on my face. I hope that you have a smile on your face from doing it. All right, so it's almost time for us to wind down our bird-themed story time. I know story time is never long enough for my liking, but don't forget that in the comments, I'm going to put our bird story time handout, right? So that has a bunch of different book recommendations that you can put on hold to pick up at the library. And we have curbside pickup as well. So especially if we're not feeling very comfortable coming into the library, or maybe, let me tell you, if you have a lot of little ones, I know that it is very hard to pack them all into the car, then out of the car, then get your books, then pack them back into the car, then pack them back out of the car when you get home. That's why our curbside pickup is so great, because you can just stay in the car and you don't have to unbuckle everybody and watch them all. So if you want to put them on hold for curbside pickup, we have that available for you. Our bird storytime handout also has a lot more rhymes than we would ever be able to do in storytime, so you can do some more rhymes together with your family. It also has a really great extension activity section, so if you really want to up the bird fun at home, you can do a bunch of different activities. There's some instructions for feather painting, right? You can get some feathers at the craft store, some fake feathers, some fake bird feathers, and you can paint with them. It's a really unusual, different texture than a regular paintbrush, right? And it looks a lot different when you put the paint on the paper using a feather versus using a paintbrush. So it's such a great exercise to compare and contrast those experiences, right? Regular painting and feather painting. It also has some just great suggestions for, again, those open-ended discussion questions. Because talking is the most important way that we learn, right? To talk about things together as a family. All right, so I will put that storytime handout in the comments, but I think we have time for one more rhyme together. I know you can do so many more rhymes together as a family without me, but one more rhyme with me. Now this rhyme, get our lyrics up here. This rhyme is a little bit of a finger movement rhyme again, just like we were doing before, Now this rhyme is great for opposites. Do you know what an opposite pair is? Like quiet and loud, or big and small, or happy and sad, right? Those are all opposites. Now we have some special guests here with us for this rhyme, because you gotta, like we said, end story time with a big bang, right? With a big exciting part. We have some little guests with us today. We have our little Blackbird finger puppets. Now this rhyme is about two little blackbirds, and you can do this with just your fingers, right? You can just do it with your finger. You don't need a finger puppet on there. But if you do have finger puppets, who doesn't love them? So this rhyme is all about two blackbirds, and every verse that we sing of this rhyme is another opposite pair, right? So the first one we're gonna do is just high, way up high, and low, way down low, right? Oh, I gotta stay in the camera though. We'll put this one up higher. High and low, right? Now, what could rhyme with low? Bow, toe, row. They could be sitting in a row. That rhymes. That's perfect. You can do this at home. I'll show you and you'll get the hang of it. You can do this at home with any opposite pair that you like. You just have to think of a rhyming word for one of the opposite pairs, right? So we have low and row, right? So they're sitting in a row, right, next to each other. Two little blackbirds sitting in a row, one named high and one named low, right? We can be high in the air and low on the ground, but we can also be high with our voices and low with our voices, right? We can play around. One named high and one named low. Fly away high, fly away low. Come back high, come back low. Oh my gosh, you guys got the hang of it. Should we try another opposite pair? What about quiet and loud, right? Now what could rhyme with loud? Crowd, cloud. Yeah, the birds could be sitting up on a cloud. Let's do that. Two little blackbirds sitting on a cloud. One named quiet and one named loud. Fly away quiet, fly away loud. Come back quiet, come back loud. Oh my gosh, you guys got the hang of it. Should we do one more verse? And then you guys can make up all the verses you want at home. It's such a fun game. You don't even have to use real rhyming words. You don't even have to use words that are real. You can get silly, like what if we did clean and messy? That's a good story. That's a good opposite, right? That's a good opposite to use with the story time rhyme. But messy, what rhymes with messy? Plessy, Bessie, Schmessy. See, these are not real words, but it doesn't matter, right? Because what we're working on is those sound parts. Just like when we were listening to our bird sounds, we're training our ears, right? So it's okay if you can't think of a real word that rhymes with your opposite pair. You can use a silly word, a tongue twistery type word, right? So let's use schmessy, right, for our messy rhyme. Two little blackbirds sitting on a schmessy. One named clean and one named messy. Fly away clean, fly away messy. Come back clean, come back messy. Oh my gosh, you guys got the hang of it. I bet that you can think of way more opposite pairs and way more real or not so real silly word rhymes for them. That's such a good game to play, especially if you need to kill a little bit of time, right? And we need to avoid a tantrum. Maybe we're waiting in line. Maybe it's a really long car ride. We can be ready with a rhyme like that that can go on and on and on and on. Keep our little ones entertained. All right, now we've done our rhyme, our last rhyme that I said we would do before we finished up story time. So now the only thing left is our imagination meditation and our goodbye song, right? That we do every single lunch break story time. Now, our imagination meditation, if you haven't joined us before, is a way in which we calm down our bodies, right? Because there's so much stress and anger and frustration and sadness that we're feeling right now, and we can feel that in our bodies too, right? Sometimes we feel really tensed up, really clenched in our bodies. Maybe it feels in our jaw or our head, that tension. Maybe our tummy feels a little bit tense, and we do our meditation so that we can take a break to listen to our body, to calm it down a little bit, to hopefully have a good rest of the day after meditation, right? And anytime we need to pull this out, we can. No special props, no puppets, no flannel board, nothing, just us. Now, in our imagination meditation, what we do is we pretend that we have a mug of something really, really hot. Now, when something's hot, like soup, or for our grown-ups, maybe some coffee, or maybe some hot cocoa, we have to blow on it to cool it down, right? So we blow out. Then we're ready to take a sip. So we breathe in while we pretend to take a sip of our cocoa. We let out our breath as we feel that imaginary cocoa going into our throat and our chest and our tummies, right? You can even make a little bit of a cup if you want. If you want to imagine with the help of making a little bit of a cup, you can do that. We're going to do this 3 times. And if you can't do it 3 whole times, that is just fine. You can do it half a time or 1 time or 0 times. We get better and better every week. And grown-ups, our little ones watch you, right? So if you do it, eventually they will want to copy you, and you will be able to get them to do it because they're looking to you about how to calm down their bodies, right? They don't know. So we have to help them. We're going to help them with this imagination meditation. All right, we're going to do this 3 times together. Ready for our second time? Ready for our 3rd time, our last time. Oh, does your body feel any differently? My body always feels a little bit more jello, like a little limp noodle, right? Like a limp spaghetti noodle. And it feels a little more tired usually after the imagination meditation. I feel a little bit more relaxed, a little sleepier. I hope that your body feels good, different after doing that. I hope that it helps you to release some of the stress of our day, because I know we're all going through a lot of stress right now. All right, our last thing. It's our goodbye song, right? Now, our goodbye song is the exact same as our hello song. The only difference is that we say goodbye, which is just opening our hand flat and closing it, instead of hello. All the rest of the lyrics and the signs are the same. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. It's time to say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining us, Storytime friends. I'm thinking of you. I miss seeing you in the library very much, and I hope that you and your families are staying nice and safe and healthy. Mwah.